So look, it's my great pleasure to have Laura Hames Franklin here with me today, and Laura will introduce herself in a moment. But Laura is the founder of a modality called Universal Health Principles, and she's also a senior teacher, as I understand it, of the Franklin Method, and a practitioner of a variety of modalities around health, and an author, and a huge blogger, and all of that kind of cool stuff. And so we're going to be, there's some really interesting stuff from Laura today. So if I could ask you, Laura, just to introduce yourself, talk about a bit about your journey to up to here, and what's happening in your life.
Okay, well, hi Neil, and hi everyone watching. It's a pleasure to be here. You're finding me based in Bali currently, so riding the wave in Bali, and happy to be connecting at this time on our planet, which is such a big global galactical shift, I feel. My journey up until this point, I mean, where do I begin? But I guess I've always been on the cutting edge of the next level of modalities and connecting to this wisdom that we cannot see, that hasn't been officially proven amongst the kind of consensus of the population of the planet. And then through my journey, we've had more and more people come forth with science, with connection, with grounding this wisdom of our body's ability to heal itself, of our connectedness to the universe, to each other, the power of our body to heal, to change, and the power of our mind to be able to direct our focus. So I've studied many different things over the past 20 plus years from the Franklin Method. I studied a modality called Body Talk. I have worked with various different other modalities. I've studied with a physicist, Nassim Haramein. Maybe some of you have heard of him. So he's written a unified field theory to show the science of how everything is connected. And then I feel like my work has been really bringing these pieces together. So how does the physics of the universe connect to the physics of the body? How can using our imagination create change in our body, mind, life, health? How is that connected to this infinite energy that we are a part of? And then how can we really use that to become the best versions of ourselves? Yes, to heal, but to grow and to build a whole new sustainable future where we're connected to the universe. In short.
In short, well, that's a huge agenda, and I wish you well on that agenda. That's an incredible agenda. So obviously you're here in Bali, or there in Bali at the moment, and I'm in Perth in Western Australia at the moment, so we're chatting. But you've recently been travelling through Europe and also North America, and you've only just a matter of days ago actually finally touched down in Bali, but your home is in New York, I understand. And so, sorry?
I don't know where my home is. My home is in the future.
Yeah. No, fair enough. But just tell us a little bit about your observation of what's going on at the moment. Obviously, we're on a coronavirus, interview here, but that would be, perhaps the trigger. But what's going on in the world as you see it, as you're traveling, and what's happening?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been fascinating. As I was in Bali in January, and then I've been traveling from then until now. I've actually been in Italy, been in England, been in America, in Seattle, in Toronto, in LA, in Venice, and kind of a lot of the hotspots of where these, explosions of the coronavirus have happened. And so I've been kind of amidst the fear, the uncertainty, the questioning from people. And so I feel like on a human day-to-day level, it is just really fueled the flames under people's fear, people's sense of security, sense of stability. You know, it's been interesting for myself without being based in a home. You know, you said you're based in New York, and I'm like, I'm not really based, you know, not really based there anymore. Like I have a base, but I wouldn't call it home. People often ask me, like, where is home? I'm like, I don't know. And I know that for myself, it's a challenge, but with such a blessing of finding home within my body. And I think that as, you know, people are starting to feel the instability of the world and the structures around us as we have known them, that fear is coming up that is really calling us to go inward. And you know, it's just the shift that has been, you know, coming for so long, of the new level of awareness of we can't rely on the material world for our truth and for our sense of stability and everything that comes with that. And it's really a time, I feel like, where the planet has just said, okay, everyone stop this running around craziness and go inward, find something else, find something deeper, find a connection that is beyond the material, the mundane, and listen, like listen to me, listen to that wisdom, listen to our bodies. And so we can open up to a new reality on the other side of this.
What would be the aspects of, you know, the current, or from, you know, yesterday backwards sort of thing, reality that you think is, you know, the place that we need to shift from? Like, what is it? Just describe a little bit about that reality that we need to move away from.
Yeah, I mean, it's fear, it's desperation, it's greed, and it is control and manipulation. And I guess it's, I don't know, it feels just like this deep, like in each person, just this a neediness of something to fill the gap that is really us being connected to love, to that more connected wisdom. So I guess it's just the lack of love, whatever we want to call that, and in all the ways that presents itself. Okay.
So if we're moving towards something, it's obviously including love in terms of what you're talking about there. What else are we moving towards?
We're moving towards that state of connectivity and receptivity in our cells. It's like it feels like we're going from like a 2D world to a multi-dimensional world where we can actually really go online with all of our senses, with all of our capacities, our knowing of our power, of our connectedness, of this infinite wisdom that we are a part of. And to that place of, yeah, it's connection. And for me, love is connection. It's where the energy is flowing, the things are connected, we know we're not separate, and so we can trust. We might not necessarily like what's happening, but we can trust that it is part of a bigger plan, and that is working as a healthy, vibrant, growing ecosystem. So yeah, connectivity.
That's very, very cool. So talk a little bit deeper about your impressions actually of the the pandemic. So feel free to talk about the disease of fear that you've been talking about, but also the actual health implications, so the physical body health implications. Just give us a bit more of a sense of how you are viewing the disease and its expression.
I mean, it's, I say we know. I don't know that in general everyone knows, but I feel like we're starting to discover, and more people are starting to discover, that everything is a vibration, everything is a frequency, and we have the choice of what we're going to tune into, what we're going to give our focus to, and therefore what grows. And with, you know, what's going on with the coronavirus, I feel like it is an opportunity for us to really recognize our susceptibility to the fear, to the dis-ease, as opposed to our opportunity to connect into, to really boost our ability to feel that health, to feel love, to feel trust that I am safe, I'm supported, I'm part of this ecosystem, my body can heal itself. And I guess really just dive deeper into, you know, it's like it's a blessing in that we've been told there's nothing that can help, you know, it's like, and I don't believe that's 100% true. I think there's many things which obviously help in terms of what is supportive for health, but there's no medication, there's no drugs, there's no prescription. And for so many people that is absolutely terrifying, because it's suddenly this, you know, parent figure who will take care of us no matter what, we can fix you, is suddenly now proclaiming, sorry, we can't fix you, you might die, and, you know, kind of like good luck. But they haven't necessarily given their children the tools and the empowerment of, and here are these things that we have available to us, your body, your mind, your nutrition, the supplements, the thoughts that you're thinking. And so it is now, it's wonderful, it's being given to us, the people who have been on this journey for a while, to come forth and share these options, you know, to say, actually, there are many things you can do. There's this and there's this and there's this and there's this, but we're doing it together. We all have a piece of it. We're all supporting each other, rather than it being this top-down, like, power.
It's why I'm laughing, Laura, is I keep hearing words that are on my lips from people that I'm talking to. So, you know, this message and understanding that you're sharing is, you know, there's a deep swell of people getting this, that it is, everybody needs to have a voice at the table. Well, we need to allow a voice at the table. And those people that have got, you know, more knowledge and wisdom and information around a particular topic, well, their voice is important. And, you know, the person that needs to be talking about something else, well, their voice is important as well. And it's not a top-down hierarchical thing. It's actually flat. It's absolutely flat. And that flatness is terrifying. So what you're talking about there before, that our parent, the government and the scientists and the medical system and so on, as you describe, and that's a lovely way of describing it, is completely incapable of talking to us about the fact that you need to be, you know, self-responsible. So now is the time for you to be self-responsible, because we don't have a drug. We don't actually have medicine for it. So the responsibility is yours. You know, now what you're going to do with that is what you're going to do with it. The other thing that was going through my mind as you were talking is that nobody ever died of a virus. People die of the way that their body responds to a virus. And it's our immune systems that actually kill us. And, you know, this particular, you know, variant of the coronavirus, we've had coronaviruses around for donkey's years, but it has the tendency of actually activating a particularly severe immune response within us. Well, that is the response that we take to it, should I say. So I don't believe the virus actually forces us to do these things at all. But the key thing, you know, like, is to understand, well, there's a bunch of stuff that we can do around the immune system and actually having it so that it doesn't overreact, doesn't behave like a crazy thing, which is what happens when people, you know, end up dying. And the tragedy is that people are dying because they are choosing to allow their immune system to, you know, behave irrationally. Anyway, that's my opinion. So we should probably go on to another question before I put my foot in my mouth or something. So, okay, so we're going to ask you for some methods around actually staying healthy. So, like, we just introduced all of that stuff, I guess, really in a funny way. But what would be the things that people can do to actually stay healthy. So like, what is it that they can do? And, you know, draw upon, obviously, you know, the principles that you teach. You're an active teacher of health. So, you know, just draw upon your wisdom and understanding.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many things. We could be here all day, which is, I think, also why you've made a whole conference about it, because there is so much. And I think that first and foremost, it is, I think before anything, it's the knowing that I can support my health. And then, you know, the list can come afterwards. Like, yes, it's the nutrition. Yes, it's the exercise. Yes, it's the getting enough sunshine and water and doing the things outwardly. But I feel like more important than that is the inner world, our inner world of knowing that our body right now is healing us, and we are growing new hair, and our cells are reproducing, and your heart is beating, and your lungs are breathing, and there is this wisdom, this intelligence that is beyond our freak out minds. And fortunately and unfortunately, depending on the moment, our mind does have power over our body. It is listening to, you know, our body is listening to our mind. If our mind says, oh, I need to, you know, go over there and pick up that object, our body will move and coordinate so we can do that. It does move towards what we're focusing on, what we're thinking about. And at the same time, we're not thinking about beating our hearts every second and breathing every single breath, or all of the replication that's going on in our DNA. So I feel like it's this combination of really allowing ourselves to rest and chill and not needing to do anything for health, but to really recognize health is inherent to who I am. And then from that place to be able to then move into, okay, and what else can I do to support myself without coming from a place of fear? Because often the things which are even like the healthy things to do, like the vitamins or the juices or this breathing technique or, you know, that modality, we can still be acting and doing them because of fear. So I feel like it's this opportunity to really, wherever we are on that spectrum, you might be already aware of like, oh yes, I drink green juices and I go to the gym, or maybe, you know, at home gym right now. But really, what is the opportunity for your next level of trust of your body's wisdom? And then from that place, you know, getting enough sunshine if you can, or imagining it if you can't, getting enough exercise, enough movement, enough variety of movements, so really moving your body in all ways possible, what feels good to you, maybe dancing, maybe, yes, okay, there's, you know, all these different kind of fitness modalities out there. I think it's also time to question those. What are we doing? What are we believing? Why are we doing certain exercises? And how can we again listen to that wisdom of our body to maybe question the next level of our exercise? When it comes to food, same thing. How can we listen to, okay, I might be following these diets that are supposed to be healthy, but what does my body say? So then we can gather from these things. Yes, we can learn about, yes, essential oils, yes, vitamin C, vitamin D, you know, there's iodine, there's olive leaf, there's oregano oil, there's many, many things. I mean, you go into a like health food store, like the vitamin and herb aisle is like extensive. And I think it's all these things can help, but it's you that is the most important. So can I listen to my body? What does it need? How can I know the information, but not go to the information first and foremost, but have it almost as a backup for my feeling? So for me, vitamin D, vitamin C, water, movement, I guess I would go in my top list, and then I could give you a very long list of other things
well, look, sorry.
Reach out to me if you want that long list.
Yeah. I was just going to say, we'll ask you to, prepare a list of stuff which, can be a resource that's available to people on on the website for the conference.
Yeah.
But that's really, really good. And I particularly picked up upon this idea of actually listening to your body. So having your body actually say, well, you know, I really do need to get outside and get in some sunlight, and I need to see the sun, and I need to have more water, or whatever it is that's going on. And particularly if you're able to listen to your body around, you know, the micronutrients and that type of thing. And, you know, the more you can do that, the better. And, you know, I thoroughly support, you know, what you're saying there, just actually getting in tune with that.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Well, and then I talk about just food in general, so that's a whole other discussion.
Yeah. Look, I think you've actually already addressed, you know, most of the next question, which is, you know, how can we change our thoughts and our behavior and that type of thing. But is there anything further you could speak on that?
Yeah, well, what about if we do a little experiment together?
Okay.
So I can speak on it, but I could also give us an experience, because I feel like I'll just do a little like 2-minute exercise. I feel can be one of the most profound shifts in our awareness of this mind, body, mind whole thing. I think that many people know, well, when I, you know, focus on something, it makes me feel better, or it makes me feel more stressed. I think many of us here will be aware of, okay, if I meditate or have that practice to still my mind, that makes a difference. But I don't think that many people have really had that experience where instantaneously from my body, like a change in my body, I have a change in my thought. So all you're going to need for this is your hands and yourself and your focus. So I know that we've been talking, those of you who are watching, you've been very much in listening mode. I now ask you to be in participatory mode. So if you're doing anything else, turn it off. You've got to fully participate for you to get the full results. So we're going to do a very simple little exercise that is based on the Franklin method. So it's a Franklin method process. I'm not going to explain too much of what I'm doing. I'm just going to give us the experience and see how we feel. So we're going to start. Just take a moment and just notice how you feel in your body right now. Notice your breath and notice your mind. Is your mind quiet, or are there thoughts popping in? Are there questions? Are there just kind of noticing, again, without any judgment of what it should be or shouldn't be. And let's just take one of our arms. So I'm going to take my right arm, point it towards me. And with the other hand, you're going to tap your arm. So I've got my left hand and I'm going to tap my right arm. I mean, it doesn't really matter which arm. I'm going to say left and right just so we can all be on the same arm. And for a moment, just notice, okay, what am I tapping? So yes, your hand, yes, your wrist, yes, your elbow. But what about, can you be aware of like this? You know, what is in there? Your skin, your blood, your lymph. What else? You've got your hairs on your arms. You've got the bones, the fascia, the muscles. So just tapping all around, tapping all the way up to your shoulder. And now just give the arm a shake. So like you can just shake out any, like really shake it. Go on, like, go on, get that arm shaking, like a feather duster. You've just had a clean, you've cleaned out all the cobwebs. Now you've got to shake them out of your feather duster. So go on, shake it. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. Okay, good. And then rest for a moment and just notice your two sides. So your side that we just tapped and shook, pretty simple, but does it feel any different to the side that we didn't yet tap and shake? Like we were moving the other arm, but it wasn't being tapped or being shaken. And then just move the arm around. So move around this arm that you tapped and notice how flexible does it feel? How enjoyable does it feel? I don't know. Does it feel like fun or flowy? I don't know. And then move the other arm and notice if there's a difference. So, Neil, you're my one audience member who can actually tell me, do you feel any difference between the two sides?
Well, look, absolutely. And interestingly, I chose to tap and shake an arm where I've actually had quite a major shoulder injury. And it's just very, very stiff, and it's much more open.
Amazing.
So from doing that.
More flexible?
Oh yeah, way. Like I would struggle to actually have my arm above my head under normal circumstances. So,
yeah. Which one is more fun?
Which one's more fun?
Yeah, I mean, like living in our body should be fun, right? I mean, I think.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
So now we're going to do a little bit more to just kind of tie this together. Before we do this, you're going to take one hand and place it on the same shoulder. So your left hand on your right shoulder. And you're just going to give these muscles around here just a little like squeeze and kind of move your shoulder around. And just notice, and maybe we can move it right onto the top, onto the trapezius muscle, that big bulky muscle up there, and just move it around and just notice how does it feel. So there might be a little might be some tension in there, it might feel a little like sticky. So we could focus on, oh, it feels tense, or we could say, I'm going to imagine it be soft and fluid. I know, like water, flowing water. Here in Bali, there's lots of flowing water. So can you imagine? So can you right now just bring your focus to imagining like fluid flowing water in your shoulder? Can I really imagine that my shoulder is made of water and I'm just kind of like sponging it? And then just rest. And notice how that feels. So now we're going to do a slightly different comparison. And this is where, hopefully, if we're able to fully focus on that and experience this, you're going to have a really interesting discovery. So move around the arm that we were just washing out, let's say. We just gave it kind of wash. And just imagine, I don't know, a challenge in your life. Let's say we can do something that maybe we're all a part of, which is like, oh my goodness, how is this whole situation going to go? How's the virus going to affect me or my business or my health or my loved ones or whatever? And just move it around and just notice your relationship to it and also your thoughts around it. Just like when you think about it, what do you imagine? What do you think? How does it feel? And then kind of make a note of that experience. And now we're going to do the same on the other side. So move the other arm and notice, how does that feel? And when you think about these situations that we're in right now with the virus and what's it going to do, what's it going to do to my life or my business or my health, just notice, how does that feel? What are the thoughts that come up around that? So, I would love to know, and from everyone watching, if you noticed any changes. But Neil, for you, were you able to notice any change? Did you have any difference between the two, I guess, approaches of the challenge at hand, depending on the hand?
Yeah, absolutely. So I can share easily. And the first thing is that when I was visualizing the water and working with that notion of that flow, the thoughts or the energy around my view of the current situation felt much more powerful. So I felt far more power. And when I was, then focusing after that on the left arm, what was going on, it felt very passive. So being passive is not a bad thing. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but this is a real change. So this arm in relationship to all of that stuff, even though it's sore, it's still hurting, the actual injury. But it feels, it's gone from being not really a part of the process. So like that arm wouldn't have been particularly a part of how I'm approaching, you know, what I'm doing. And obviously my support for this Congress and all the rest of it as well. Mm-hmm. It's hardly as though I'm, you know, inactive around the topic. But what it feels like, it just feels much more powerful. So like it has this energy of power to it. And the energy of power is in the flow. So when you're talking about that, you know, the water, I could actually feel it wasn't placid, calm water. This was really strongly moving water with a tremendous amount of, you know, energy and momentum and, well, power. Power is the best word. So that was what I was experiencing. Yeah.
Amazing. And I mean, for me, it's always so profound when I experience. It really is what I'm feeling first that then informs my perspective. So if I'm feeling tight and crunchy or restricted in my physical body, my thoughts, my mind, my perspective is going to come through that, because I don't get what I think on many levels. It's like I get what I feel, and our bodies are so influential in creating our thoughts. We are thinking with our full body, like our body mind is actually one. And I think that so many of us don't necessarily put that fully together. It's like, if you're feeling powerful, guess what? That is who you then are, because you are what you feel, and then your thoughts will reflect that. Versus if you're feeling, you know, I mean, passive, yes, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but maybe say you're feeling more sticky or crunchy or disempowered, let's say, as the kind of counter and opposite. If you're feeling that, it doesn't matter how many people tell you to think positive and it's all going to be okay, because your body is telling you something else, and that is what is informing your mind. So it's like, how do we literally create that change from the inside out, from our body's wisdom first, and then our mind changes to kind of flow into that space.
Well, that's very beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that with me and with us all. And I can definitely attest to, you know, the value of actually having a go at that. And obviously the danger of somebody, you know, saying what's happened to them is that then other people think that should be what's going to happen for them, but it'll be different for everyone. And, you know, the messages and so on that come through. And I definitely take it that the gift that you're offering here is the gift of listening to your body and, you know, allowing yourself to experience your environment through the body in a more knowing way, as opposed to the normal unconscious way that we experience our environment through our bodies. Yeah, cool. Right. So that's very, very cool. Thank you. Very cool. So lastly, what is your appeal to the world at the moment? What you know, what are you asking? What would you wish that the world could do at the moment?
You know, the first thing that comes to me is just have fun. That might sound, you know, depending on where you are in your reality, like the most far distant reality. I don't know. I feel like for many people, actually, it is opening up with these opportunities to, like, where is the fun? I feel like we're being called to find the fun, the joy in our bodies, in our moment, in our connection with our food, with our moments, with what are we doing and creating. And it's almost like going back to being children, having all of our toys taken away, and then our parents being like, okay, you go sit in the, you know, garden with a bunch of sticks and find some fun. Or like, you know, here's some like mundane objects, like go build something from them. And to really find that place where we are in the complete opposite of the fear. And that is, for me, in the joy, in the fun, in the connection, in the how can, again, it's like another way of saying, how can we find the best in the situation? But it's from that place, it's from the play, it's from that inquisitive childlike space. Like, why are children not being affected? Obviously, many a reason, but it's like when we're in that intuition, in that play, in that more right-brained ability to sense, to create, to be in our imagination, that is where I believe our power is. And we all have the opportunity to do it right now. I mean, it's such a blessing. Like, everyone is like off work, including the children. It's like, I mean, obviously people are still working, but there's a kind of global census of a very different relationship to work, to self, to health, to body, to family. And I feel like that is giving us the opportunity to build our new future, where we all have our peace, because we found it in that lightness, in that play, in that joy. And I believe that that's where health is. And that's where we're bringing us to.
That's very beautiful. Thank you so much, Laura. It's been wonderful. So thank you again. And you know, for viewers, please take advantage of the resources that you know, Laura is making available, and a checklist of things, supplements, and these things, and other things that she puts in there as well. And I do recommend tuning into Laura's Facebook pages and so on. So we'll have links to those things actually in the, you know, the conference information as well. So that's just wonderful. Thank you so much. And it was a great gift, the gift of the shoulder. Yeah, I know.
Now you all need to go do your other one. Yeah, absolutely. And also I would love to offer the gift of one of my group program is called Holy Shift. It's been running for about 10 years, and I feel like it's been created for this time, for this moment, which is like where we are ready for the whole thing to shift, the whole of us, the whole of reality. And so I would love to gift everyone watching a free experience of that, so you can actually join for a week, come to one of the live calls, and access the massive long library of Holy Shift sessions, and yeah, just connect to, you know, other, if this vibed with you, then other people who are choosing this as well.
Very cool. Bring it on, as they say. See, that's how that arm is doing that power thing, you know. Thanks, Laura. We'll keep in touch, and that's a wonderful offer. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay.